90% of this one. The foam is a little bit different. I didn't realize that. This foam is dense, but it's not quite as... Lukey! Hey! Luca interrupting the show. What am I going to do? What's happening, Boot Junkies? Mike Delgadio here, back with another video on home studio setup for voiceover. Get my headphones. We're in my living room today, and we're going to... That feels backwards. There we go. Left and right. There we go. That feels the way it's supposed to feel. What's happening, Boot Junkies? Mike Delgadio here, back with another video on home studio setup for voiceover. We're not in the booth today because we're going to review a product that 1 million people have asked me to review, and I never had one. But... thank you, Brandon. Thank you. One of our fellow Boot Junkies happened to have a Kaotica eyeball, and he sent his over for us to evaluate and to review. I should turn it so that you can see see the logo, yeah? Anyway, we're going to see if the Kaotica eyeball can replace a vocal booth, as they sort of say on their website. What is the idea of this thing? What is this thing supposed to do? Well, what they claim and what they say is that by having this foam surrounding the microphone, right around here, is it sort of will take the place. It will act similar to a vocal booth. And you guys know from watching my channel that the purpose of the vocal booth is to manage the quality of the sound. It's to keep outside noises as best as it can from getting into the microphone, unwanted outside noise, and it's supposed to help manage the room reflections and the standing waves that are in the room. So as you're listening to this microphone right now, you can hear it. You can hear the room, right? My voice is going out, bouncing off that wall on the other side, bouncing back, hitting that wall, and then coming over my shoulder and into the microphone. It's bouncing off the walls and into the microphone, off the ceiling and floor, and it's coming into the sensitive side of the microphone, right? This is a cardioid pattern microphone, as many of them are. Most of the microphones that we have out there for voiceover are cardioid, which means they are sensitive on the front and less sensitive from the back. So sound that comes this way, the mic doesn't pick it up so well. Sound that comes this way, the mic picks it up really well. So any reflection, any echo that's coming off the ceiling, off the walls, if it's coming over my shoulders and into the microphone hears it. It's just the way microphones work. And so, for something like voiceover, you can't have this situation, right? You need to acoustically treat your space so that those unwanted reflections don't come in. One of my other videos you saw I made when I did it in my shower that's right over there, you saw I put acoustic paneling on the ceiling and on the walls, and all of a sudden I turned that really live space into a dead space, so it worked well for voiceover. And the idea with the Kaotica eyeball is they say that putting this around your microphone means that you don't have to put nearly as much around, maybe even none. We're going to see if that's true. I also, some time ago, made a video for its Chinese knockoff brother, the Altron PF8. And so this one costs about 1/3 of the Kaotica. This one costs about 1/3. This one I think was $40. This is $200. Let's repeat that. This piece of foam is $200. 40? 200. That's scary. Let's see if it's worth $200. All right, so what does this thing say? What does it say it does? Well, by placing this over the microphone, goes this way, by putting it over the microphone, we're going to stop sound, absorb, lessen sound from getting into the microphone, into the less sensitive side, to a certain extent, over the sides. But this part, the pop filter, is acoustically transparent, so my voice and everything that's coming over my shoulder is going to come in. On their video, on their website, they have a video where they have a guy, sorry, put it down for a second, they have a guy in a room similar to this, much bigger than this, and he's going to sing. And they're going to show that the microphone knocks down a lot of those reflections.
So like gravity you pull, this water's cold and so are these woods.
Now, for singing purposes, I think you can still hear a fair bit of reverb from that room getting in, and that's a pleasant sounding, reverberant room. It actually sounds okay. For voiceover, that doesn't work. We can't have reverb in our microphone. We can't have that stuff. The whole reason I have a booth is to knock down all of these reflections and manage them so that my voice is nice and dry. It's an acoustically dead space, so my voice is dry. You can't hear, you can't get a sense of what room I'm in, as opposed to what you're hearing right now. You have a sense of the room that I'm in. So what they did is they have a microphone, they have a pop filter, they have it filmed from the side, and they show with this 87 style microphone. They have one like this, and then they have it with the Kaotica on. So now you've heard me talking at length without the Kaotica. Let's put it on, and we'll see how it goes. The instructions say to take the microphone and feed it down through the hole. So let's talk about this thing. What this is, it's just a piece of foam with a hole in the bottom that the microphone goes through. And you put the capsule of the microphone right there. Well, let's see if we can do it. I'm going to switch. I'm recording into the Zoom H5, so you'll hear me talking on the XY microphone. So I'm going to disconnect, sorry. So this is what it sounds like when you're not using a cardioid, when you're just using the big microphone or a room microphone. This is what it would sound like. So you take your microphone, you put it, well, let's do it like this. You put it down so that the bass comes out through the hole. Like that. Like that. Put it back in the pop filter. And you hook it back together. And that's the way they say to do it. Now, I'm going to disconnect my awesome, I love this thing, my awesome pop filter, and I'm going to put the Kaoticas in place. So this just slides into place. There we go. And now we have the pop filter. Now, it says that you're supposed to turn the gain down on your preamp. And that may be a little bit of a trick that they use to make it sound like there's less reverb, but they say there's this channeling effect that your voice gets channeled into this little hole. Can you see me? You can't even see me. Hi. It gets channeled into this little hole. So you're supposed to turn the preamp down a little bit. I'll turn it down a little tiny bit, but I want you to be able to hear me, so I'll turn it down a little bit. I've turned it down from 4.5 to about 3.5. I'm sorry, I turned it down from 4 to 3 on the preamp because I want you to actually be able to hear me. Next, it says that you're supposed to get the right distance from the mic. You start 2 inches from the microphone. You try 4 inches from the microphone. You maybe get 6 inches from the microphone, 6 inches from the mic, and yeah, we're recording. You get 6 inches from the mic, and then you're supposed to see how it sounds. So the question is, does the foam of the Kaotica absorb enough of the room reflection? I have both the Kaotica, both the regular mic and the XY mics in my ear right now, so I can't really tell. But in my testing that I've done so far, you can still hear the room. So you're hearing it. Do you still hear the room? It may be less than it was before. I'll grant that. It may be less than it was before. But my voice is still going off that wall, hitting that wall. And look, it's got two great big gaps in it. So there's actually, probably 25% of that wall is missing, is still reflecting into this microphone. So do you hear it? Does it get down low enough? Now, it may get down low enough that for something like your personal YouTube channel, where you're just doing this for the voiceover for yourself, that it might work. If you can still hear any reverb then it's not going to work for voices.com. It's not going to work for Fiverr. It's not going to work for radio and TV or anything like that. It may knock it down a little bit. I've done some side-by-side comparisons between this one and this one. The weight of this one is probably 80% of this one. The foam is a little bit different. I didn't realize that. This foam is dense, but it's not quite as... Lukey. Hey. Luca interrupting the show. What am I going to do? Hey. I'm recording over here, buddy. What are you doing? Come here. Oh, that's a good boy. That's a good boy. Luca. There he goes. Just wanted to interrupt. I will say that the foam on this is slightly less dense. So as I just talk into this one and talk into this one, it does sound ever so slightly different. So there is some type of quality difference between the Chinese knockoff and the real deal. So here's how this eyeball sounds. I don't know that it changes the sound that much. It may sound a bit closer for sensing the room. It should sound a little bit more dead. The question is are you hearing the reverb over my shoulder? And if you are, then you still need to add more acoustic treatment behind you. And they sneak that into some of the description where they say, hang a blanket behind you. You still need to manage these reflections. I don't know that this will ever take the place of something like a whisper room, but it can help. It's not going to get you to studio quality. I just don't think it is. Just based on what I'm able to tell, it just isn't going to get you to broadcast quality, real studio quality. You're going to really still need to have a well-treated acoustic space, and this is not going to cut it all the way. So if you're looking to become a voice actor for work that other people are going to pay you for, you're still going to need to come up with an acoustically treated space. This doesn't feel like it's going to get you all the way there, but you'll be able to hear it, and you'll be able to judge for yourself. Just for a point of comparison, I'm going to put next the cheapo version to see how significant a difference that is. So let me disconnect the microphone and we'll put this one in. Facing forward. Mic facing forward. Barely used. All right. Now we have the imitator in place. So the question is, for 1/4 the price, does this do 1/4 the work of the Kaotica eyeball? So now you've heard the Kaotica, the real deal. This is the imitator, and you've heard it bare. Does the knockoff, how does it compare? Like I said, I have a hard time hearing this because I've also got the XY mics on, so because I'm hearing the room, and so I have to have those on so that when I disconnect the mic, you can still hear me. But that's the way this microphone sounds. So I can try and get farther away from it. I can get closer to it. I didn't change anything about the preamp. And so now you've got a sense of the comparison between the two. I will say, as I mentioned before, the foam itself is slightly different. This does seem to have a different sort of density to it. The cell structure seems to be larger than the cell structure in here. Whether I don't know what any of that, what the implications, what the ramifications of what the tile of foam is. I will say that the foam is ever so slightly different. I'll put it down on the bench and we'll take some close-ups so you can see the difference of it. And we'll also weigh it so you can see what the weight difference is. But there you have it. That is a comparison between the real Kaotica eyeball, the knockoff eyeball thingy that we have here, and a bare microphone. What do you think? I'd be interested in your impressions on how good or bad you think any of this is. And certainly I'd appreciate whether or not you think that is worth the money. The next thing to figure out is, where do I put my copy? That's something I got to figure out. I don't like having, I don't know where to put my copy. Anyway, so eyeballs, the real deal, the fake deal, the no deal. Let me know what you think. Now, go make yourself some sort of acoustic space. Maybe you got to have an eyeball to start. I recognize that. But whatever you do, get out there, record something amazing. We'll talk to you next time. Thanks.